Who has contributed the most to the World Cup? Europe or South America? That was the sporting debate recently held here at the Bridge as Sport Court took over the Hollins Suite. It was chaired by broadcaster and former Tottenham player Garth Crooks in front of a jury. Gabriele Marcotti and Mark Pougatch argued the case for Europe, with Ricky Villa and our very own Neil Barnett representing South America. First up to make their speech was Mark Pougatch, reasoning for Europe.
Just that whole sense that in Europe, and we're not just talking about Western Europe, talking about Eastern Europe as well, the powerhouses of Ukraine, Dynamo Kiev, Lobanovsky, all these sorts of people. And then added to that broad church, what I told you about results. Yes, we love Brazil, we love Argentina, but that is it. That is the thin layer at the top. Uruguay, 60 years ago since then. All those teams that I told you about, the great Dutch teams, the great teams who never won the World Cup, the Dutch in 74 and 78, the great Hungarian side of 1954, the hottest favourites ever. Then all those other teams, Turkey in 2002, the Poles in 1974 and 1982. You're getting a breadth and a depth and variety here that you're not getting at all in South America. Nothing like it.
Then Neil Barnett followed.
What a shock. What we have had from our European friends is, of course, economic colonialism. Yes, Europe has more variety. Yes, Europe has more depth. What Europe has is more bleeding money, more wealth, and more ability to organise their countries, their teams, their young footballers. What you should measure economic wealth by is not the richest, but the poorest. Only South American countries have won World Cups in other continents. Europe, great in Europe. Anywhere else in the world, you do it our way or we won't join in. South America won in Sweden in 1958, Brazil. South America won in Asia in 2002, South Korea and Japan. And indeed, when the World Cup, the only other time it went out of, if you include Mexico and South America, went out of that region or Europe to the United States, who won? Brazil.
So once the panel had made their cases, the jury deliberated their decision, and it was over to Crooks to announce the verdict.
The final vote is this. South America, 60% of the vote. Europe, 40% of the vote. South America have it. Congratulations, Gab.
Oh, well, this is good news, right?